I don't get pushback from cops. Cops do want this. And even if they don't want this, their wives want this.
Oh,
The appeal is incredibly easy. Like, I don't want you going in and kicking in somebody's door over a bag of weed and $15 of something. Like, that's preposterous. And we shouldn't be risking your husband's or wife's life to do that because of a stupid job that has no outcome that's gonna come forward. Like, look, everybody that worries about what are we going to do with police and we need shit kickers. Yeah, you need people like me that are going to go in and enjoy the adrenaline, kick in a door, be the first one in, be ready to shoot and be calm and do all those things you want. But for God's sakes, keep us away from everybody else. You know, like, you only call us in when that's the scenario. Like, if you want to call, like, yes, you need people on the wall to stand there when you need, and I'd love doing that shit. But I'm well aware that that means you don't have me handle whether your 5-year-old child is going to school or not, or wondering about how to handle a very delicate mental health issue. Like, I'm not capable of that. I'm a fucking shit kicker. I'm going to kick in the door and throw everybody on the ground and get people in handcuffs and do what I have to do. Now, that's needed from time to time, but it's really rare.
Yeah, you know, recently there was a story, I think it was in Seattle, where Charlena Lyles, I think that's her name, and she had an interaction with cops like the earlier week of where she picked up some scissors, the domestic violence call, and then they come again, and this time they knew who she was, so they brought an extra officer, and she said she was reporting a robbery. I think someone stole her Xbox, her boyfriend or something, and ends up, well, I think she picked up a knife again, and this time officers weren't trying to talk her down. Both officers fired on her. And she was like 100 pounds soaking wet in her own home. So I don't know.
Well, I think we have to understand that heroes are the ones that hesitate to pull the trigger. And that's a thing that I've said a bunch of times, and it sounds like a radio quip, but I never had the concept. I've faced situations like that before. I mean, let's face it, that old lady, worst case scenario, I take a cut. Yeah, I'm a cop. You call me a hero, and I'm supposed to serve, and my life is supposed to be less valuable than those I'm serving. So yeah, I might get cut. I might get a few injuries here and there. That's what I signed up for. So if you're not cut out for it, don't do it. What will the science tell us that we actually need for police to be? Because, like, what if we just need some, like, psychopath that's not actually, going to be emotionally like, wrapped up in the scenario, because the only way you can stay calm is to not let those things affect you in that moment. So who knows on what we actually need for those moments, but we need to look at them scientifically and say, what do we need? What should we have around our children? Like today, a 17-year-old child was shot and killed because the cop was shooting at a dog in an urban environment. And no, like, this is where, when people say things like, why didn't they shoot him in the leg and stuff like that? This is exactly why. You do not shoot anywhere in an urban environment with concrete, with a backdrop you can't predict. When a bullet hits a sidewalk, it can go in any direction whatsoever. So you shouldn't ever be shooting at a dog and pulling a trigger at a dog anywhere near a sidewalk or any kind of backdrop like that. If you get bitten by a pit bull in the arm, as a cop, will take that bite and then shoot the dog. You do not endanger everybody else. Like, you just can't be that person. So we have to look at what that type of person is. And I think that's a seriously rare person. So how about we don't have people doing that stuff?
Absolutely. And you're right. I was going to cover that story. And an officer got shot too. Now, he's okay. He was just wounded in the leg. But still, yeah, he could have hurt even more people. And it's my condolences to the family of that 17-year-old who was killed for no reason. No reason
And
at
that's
all.
why I say about cops being around your children in schools and things like that. Like, all these things we have to incredibly redefine. If do you really want a gun around your children in school, when we know empirically that the presence of any gun, whether it's a cop or not, makes everyone more dangerous? So think about that. Here's a statistical fact. If you call the police right now and an armed person comes to your house and you have children, you have just endangered their life. And we know this without a question. So it's not, don't call the police. That's the wrong answer. The right answer is, don't have somebody with a gun come into a house and endanger people like that.
I tell you guys, it just keeps getting more real. And your brain, just like I said, I hope some people are kind of, warming up to the idea that we just need to change our policing. It's not about bad apples. Maybe Michael would disagree with me, but I don't think it's about bad apples. I think it's about the tree and the forest that we plant the tree in.
Yeah, I call it a barrel, a rotten barrel, but you can say a poisoned forest, and therefore all the fruit is poisonous as well. All those kind of analogies work, and I get into that a lot because of those three things that policing has done, and then that barrel has been seasoned with the mass incarceration bill, with the drug war, with redlining, with environmental poisoning. All those things have continued to make that barrel worse and worse as time has gone on. So you cannot put an apple in that barrel. I really thought, like, I don't think I've ever acted my entire life with malice towards somebody. And despite that, for 11 years in the police department, my actions were completely racist and were structured to oppress people. I had no intent of doing that. It's a system that does that. So no matter how good that apple was you put into that barrel, it cannot achieve goodness. And so we have to make a barrel that no matter how bad of an apple I put in it, it will achieve goodness because the barrel is so good. The whole thing has to be flipped because I don't care if a cop is racist. People want to know, oh, we have to have tests to know whether they're racist or not. I mean, that sounds okay, but I'm not really into that. I don't care if they love everything about Hitler, as long as they go out onto the streets and they treat everybody with the utmost empathy and respect because the system made them that way. I don't give a damn. I just need them to treat you the proper way.
I love that. I love that that viewpoint. I really do because I think that's really all it's about. It's about how do they function in their job.